used our seeded dollars to bond out for road work, which essentially what provided $13 million worth of work, many of which your union participated in. And that's what we used our seeded dollars for. We essentially paved every road in town. Got a couple left over we got to finish this year. But that had a major impact, and I think that was a wise choice of our seeded dollars. Not that we're not necessarily in favor of the project, but there are some issues with this project. In particular, the interlocal agreement. Some things have arisen over the last several weeks based on some legislation that had been passed in Indianapolis. And we do have a statement from the council that we'd like to read before we take a vote. Starts off, the town council is concerned that signing the interlocal agreement in its current form, subject to associated laws in Senate Bill 528, would now bring with it. While it has been reported that the Senate Bill 528 simply requires a participating community to pay their pledge, what is not being said is that the bill subrogates every municipal fund that gets distributed to a city or town for the state. By signing the interlocal agreement and thus being subject to this new act, we would essentially be pledging many other revenue sources to meet the requirements of the interlocal agreement. While these revenues may never be used, this could create issues when future municipal bonding takes place, as distributions such as LRNS, MVH, and the general fund could be intercepted by the state to make our payment obligations. The funds we pledge per the agreement are from the local option income tax. If those funds are reduced because overall personal income falls in the future, the state is mandated to intercept other funds if they are needed to meet payment obligations. We are not in agreement to have funds other than seeded dollars being part of the interlocal agreement. So essentially, although the interlocal agreement does not stipulate that we have to pledge other funds other than seeded, this new law that took place was signed a couple of weeks ago or less, now subjects every fund that we have that we receive from the state as being allowable to be intercepted to pay for the train. So that's not part of the interlocal. I think the interlocal is a bit flawed, and it needs to be fixed. So until that time, that's the position that the council is taking. So, any comments from the council members?
No, that sums it up.
Looking for a motion?
I would entertain a motion to contribute, not contribute, or defer.
Mr. Chairman, I would like to make a motion that in light of what you just read and the investigation and discovery that we've come upon, and the fact that over the past couple of years we've looked at our dollars from the town that we have to spend on the people of the town of Griffith, and the fact that we were willing to make a contribution to this project, but it was turned down because it was deemed not enough for whatever reason it was. But that was all we could afford to give. So I would make a motion that at this time we decline to contribute to this particular project.
A second.
We have a motion and a second. Is there any discussion? All right, once again, on two separate occasions, we have asked our citizens what they wanted us to do, and we've got a fairly large response, in particular for both of these cases, and they're resoundingly against it. So, we were elected to represent our citizens and manage their money. So, I believe that it's probably something that we should follow their wishes on. So, any other discussion? Right, all in favor of the motion signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no. The motion carries.